In the last two videos, we covered why Robotics Notes Elite was made, and we also unboxed a copy of the original Robotics Notes release from 2012. So now, it's time to take a closer look at both versions and examine what the exact differences between them are. The footage of the original game was captured on PS3, while the Elite version was captured on PC. If you'd like to see us check out the Elite version on its original release platform, the PS Vita, feel free to subscribe for emotional support. At first glance, both versions look almost identical, and honestly, they kind of are. Oh, every time I boot the PS3 game up, it feels weird not seeing the Elite logo there. First thing you'll notice on PS3 is that the character models have pixelated edges. This is due to the basic anti-aliasing that the engine uses on PS3. The game also runs at a resolution of 720p and at 30 frames per second. This was pretty standard for this generation of consoles. However, when we compare it directly to the Elite version, running at full 1080p and 60 fps, you can clearly see the differences. Not only everything looks sharper, but characters also seem to move faster, even though technically nothing has changed. Character models in Elite also feature more detailed textures, and the anti-aliasing is improved. Characters have a wider range of expressions and movements in Elite. For example, here, we can see Akiho blushing in the Elite version. Another noticeable difference is that Elite introduces many more animated scenes to improve the flow of certain moments. That said, there is still a surprising number of animated sequences in the original version as well. For example, all Kill Ballad battles use the same animation. The lower resolution isn't as big of an issue as we initially expected. Background art, CGs, and even the few animated scenes look almost identical to the Elite version. This scene where Kaito watches an advertisement for the exoskeleton company also exists in the original game. But the main difference here is presentation. In the original release, the video plays on the Pokecom screen, while in Elite, it is shown in full screen. Even this animation is already present in the original game, and was moved to the new one. The opening movie is completely different between the two versions. The original opening was produced in-house by Mages and features the song Augmented Plays. The Elite opening, featuring the song The Promised Augment, was produced by Production IG, the same studio that handled the anime adaptation. This also makes the opening visually consistent with the rest of Elite's animated scenes, many of which are taken directly from the anime. Several other scenes are now fully animated, for example, moments during the Robo 1 tournament, Nae's first appearance at the hangar, or when Gunbuild takes its first steps. While the Robo 1 tournament's animated scenes improve the overall presentation, some of them are reused multiple times, which can get a bit repetitive. There are many other animated scenes as well, although most of them feel more like unnecessary additions. Usually they depict fairly mundane moments, like the van approaching when Nae shows up at the hangar, or when Michi drives his car in front of the old hotel. Mages also made changes to the game's script, specifically by rearranging some scenes and reducing the amount of Kaito's internal monologue. This was one of the main criticisms mentioned in Japanese reviews, so some of these monologues were shortened, while others were replaced with scenes from different characters' perspectives. The original game also felt more restrictive in terms of when you could reply to tweets, so in Elite, the system feels more open, with clearer indications when new messages are available. The Pokecom presentation is also changed in the re-release. Instead of seeing the tablet floating on the screen, the interface now opens in full screen. This is most likely a carryover from the PS Vita version, where the interface would otherwise be too small to comfortably use. You can also see in this promotional image that the full screen layout feels more immersive, as it allows you to interact with it as if you were using a touchscreen. So yeah, even with all of these changes, both versions still feel pretty similar overall. Elite definitely looks nicer and flows a bit better, but at the end of the day, it's still the same game. After this comparison, Robotics Notes Elite really feels like less a remake and more like a polished version of the original. And honestly, it kind of makes you wonder, if the PS Vita wasn't a thing, would this version even exist? because a lot of these changes really do feel like they were made with that platform in mind. That's going to be it for this video. And if you haven't seen the previous videos about Robotics nodes, where we talk about why Elite was even made, or unbox the original release, you can check those out as well. It seems we've kind of unintentionally made an interesting retrospective series about Robotics nodes. Thanks for watching and see you next time!